try to understand the line spectrum and energy profile diagram of hydrogen-like species. Whenever we say hydrogen-like species, we simply mean a species which consists of only one electron. So for any species which consists of one electron, its most stable state is the ground state. That is when the electron is closer to the nucleus. So that is the most stable state. Now if an electron is resting in n1 orbital, n is equal to 1 orbital, and we want to move that electron to n is equal to infinite, then the amount of energy which will be required is called as ionization energy. As you can see from the diagram, there are green horizontal lines which actually represent the orbitals in an atom. So n is equal to 1 means closer to the nucleus, n is equal to 2, that means the second orbital, n is equal to 3 is the third orbital, n is equal to 4 is the fourth orbital, and so on and so forth. Finally, there is n is equal to infinite, that means the electron is now out of the atom. So definitely the amount of energy which will be required to move or remove an electron out of the atom will be equals to E1, that is minus 13.6 electron volts per atom. Now if an electron is sitting in n is equal to 2, that means second orbital, then the amount of energy required to move that electron to the infinite level will be E2, that is minus 3.4 electron volts per atom. And similarly, if the electron is resting in n is equal to 3, then the energy gap between the n infinite and n is equal to 3 is minus 1.51 electron volts per atom. That means this much amount of energy will be required to remove the electron sitting in that n is equal to 3 orbital. And the energy gap between n is equal to 4 and infinite is minus 0.85 electron volts per atom. It will be good if these figures, the energy values, get framed in our brains, so the future calculations becomes easier for numerical sake. We said that the amount of energy required to move an electron from the first orbital, that is n is equal to 1, to the infinite will be called as the ionization energy. There are two more technical terms related to the energy. One is separation energy. Separation energy means if an electron is sitting in an orbital which is other than the ground state and we want to move it to n is equal to infinite, then the amount of energy required will be called as separation energy. The third technical term is the excitation energy. Means you simply want to excite an electron, no matter if it goes to the next higher energy level. So the amount of energy required to move an electron from an nth orbital to the just next orbital, that is n plus 1th orbital, that amount of energy required is called as the excitation energy. So we have ionization energy up to infinite, separation energy up to infinite, but from nth orbital besides n is equal to 1 other orbital. And the third is excitation energy, means the just next higher level of orbital. The second information that we gather from this diagram is the energy gap between two consecutive orbitals. You can see that the energy gap between n is equal to 1 and n is equal to 2, that is the first and second orbital, is 10.2 electron volts per atom. That means this amount of energy will be required for an electron to move from n is equal to 1 to second orbital and vice versa. Let's take an example of hydrogen atom. So if we have an hydrogen atom and if the electron in the hydrogen atom wants to move from n is equal to 1 to n is equal to 2, it will require a photon with 10.2 z square electron volt per atom, and we know that z is equal to 1 over here. So overall 10.2 electron volts per atom of energy. If I provide an energy of, let's say, 10.8 electron volts per atom to this electron, then what will happen? The electron will not absorb that energy, so it will be simply transmitted. On the other hand, if I provide, let's say, 6.8 or 6.2 electron volts per atom of energy to this particular system, then also that energy will not be absorbed. So in short, what message do we get from here? That an exact amount of 10.2 electron volts per atom of energy will be required. Only then the photon will be absorbed and the excitation will take place. So If we have a radiation with all the wavelengths, carrying all the wavelengths, let's say a white light, so some of the photons will be absorbed by the system and the rest will be transmitted as it is. So the spectrum that we see, we obtain actually will consist of dark lines or black lines in the entire spectrum, and the rest of the portion will not be darker. If we cut down the source of radiation, so what will happen? We cut down the source of photons, we cut down the source of energy which we were providing, and the electron from the excited state will jump to the ground state. In that particular process, the amount of energy equivalent to the energy gap between those two respective orbitals will be now emitted. So what can you expect? Initially, when it was getting excited to a higher energy level, it was absorbing X amount of energy, let's say, equivalent or corresponding to a particular wavelength of radiation. So when it comes back to the lower energy level, it de-excites to the lower energy level, it will be emitting that equivalent amount of energy. And also, what you will observe in the spectrum, how did we get this information? We saw the spectrum, and in the spectrum we observed that the initial spectrum, which was carrying dark lines in between, at the same point, at same value of wavelength, we are now getting brighter lines. We are not getting the dark line. From the excited state, the electron has now returned to the ground state, to the lower energy level. So the region of the spectrum which was giving us darker lines initially, it will not be darker this time. Besides that portion, the rest of the spectrum will be dark. The rest of the region of that particular spectrum will be dark. Now, since we are getting this spectrum on account of the energy being emitted by the electron when it is jumping from the higher to the lower energy level, so this type of spectrum is called as emission spectrum. So what are the major takeaways? The photon is absorbed by the electron in packets. If you are providing that exact amount of energy to the electron which it requires to jump from one energy level to another, then only it will be absorbed, otherwise it will be rejected, it will be transmitted, otherwise it won't be absorbed. So the entire package will be absorbed, otherwise it is not accepted by the electron. Another important takeaway is that, as you can also see in the figure, the energy gap between first and second orbital is very huge as compared to, let's say, to second and third, or third and fourth. As you move upwards or as you move to the higher energy orbitals, the gap is decreasing. So while drawing the diagram, also make sure that the energy gap, the difference between the first and second orbital, is the largest. So another takeaway from here is that the energy difference between first and second orbital is highest over here, is the most, as compared to any nth orbital and infinite orbital where n is not equal to 1.